What made you lose respect for someone? Lost respect for my boss after he threw the world's biggest tantrum and threatened to fire me for being greater than 1 minute late to work. I've never once disrespected him nor even took part in the conversations behind his back about how much of an ass he is. After that day, I always contribute to those conversations as my way of venting how much I don't respect him. He treats his employees like this is the only job there is. He also tends to help people out with money, jobs, etc. But if you don't do everything he says, he'll remind you how he went out on a limb for you and helped you before. It's because of him that I no longer want a career in electrical work. I'm now looking into settling into a different career choice. I met this girl who seemed nice, but we then went to a restaurant to have dinner together. I've never heard anyone being more spiteful and aggressive to servers for no reason in my entire life, although I was being pranked. My best friend, since we were in 3rd grade, we're late 30s now, threatened to kill himself because of the outcome of an election and the snowball effect that would inevitably end in him losing his natural resources career. He's still employed, BTW. My now ex-boyfriend told a girl he worked with she should smile more. When I asked why he'd say that, he said she was, and I quote, an angry lesbian who was bumming out my mood. I couldn't believe he'd be that insensitive towards someone else. Especially if this girl was having a rough day and he was just demanding her to act happy for his benefit. Him gonna get me one of them prosthetic legs. My aunt, being a kid, she always talked about how we were upper class and white European. We are from South America and the only European thing I have is a passport because double nationality, so I thought cool, whatever upper class and white means. We were not just middle class and not even white by American or European standards. Growing up, she always made a comment about blacks, poor people, etc. One day she started screaming and went over her head saying how all the poor people in the slums should just be nuked. I was with my GF and her grandma came from the slums as a kid, and my GF said that how can my aunt be so inhuman to say such BS. My aunt hear this and looks at me saying, why every girl you date is not white? My aunt has a darker tone than her. At this point I just showed her my phone with a video I made of her screaming all of this, and said your Mill will love to see this, knowing she came from the lowest class in Colombia, and ended with, if I had any little piece of respect for you, it's just gone by now. Peas, my aunt is lesbian, her wife comes from the Colombian slums, and rough live, and it's crazy to think that she knows very well how people can treat others for things out of their control and still say all that shit. Her wife is mature and kind, so I'm really sorry for her that she married to the worst human being possible. My uncle stole $3,000 from me. You better not show your face around, motherfucker, or I'll wreck your legs and take everything away from you, leaving you with only your sorry, pathetic, useless life. There, I said it. And it feels so good. Less than 3-piece in Middle East. I'm out. Using something you said to them in confidence against you and trying to make you the bad guy. My brother was always an asshole, but when it came at his daughters, he was a good father. That is until we find out that he was cheating on his wife and even took his daughters to meet his mistress on one of his rendezvous with her. They sat outside in the living room area of the hotel room while he did his disgusting deed. So now he's an asshole and a bad father. I was a garbage collector at a mall. I hated when people tried throwing garbage from a distance and don't pick it up when they miss the bin. Anytime I find out someone voted for Trump. Left me on the side of the road in a panic attack for 2 hours, not knowing what had happened to 2 of my friends, one of who I was crushing on, the other being the guy I'm talking about, while the guy raped the girl. On top of that, he was aware of my feelings for her. He tried to hit me up about 6 months after I broke it off, asking for my help to find him some weed, and he never got a response. People that in a debate just try to make fun of you but don't have any opinion and are just stubborn but trying to look smart in a desperate way. Once had a friend back in 7th/8th grade who lied about getting raped by a mutual friend's older brother who had just been released from jail, not sure what for, just knew he was newly released within this time period. Her and her brothers don't even know if they existed, never saw them physically. She talked about them and texted as them all the time, had gone to see said mutual friend and his brother. Next day at school she's acting different. Like, very skittish, jumped anytime anyone touched her. I finally asked her, "Hey, you okay? You've been acting strange today. Is there something wrong?" She looks at me, tears in her eyes, and started sobbing that our mutual friend's brother had raped her. So instantly our friend group is trying to support her in any way she needed. This went on for roughly a week. I later get a huge message from her saying that her brothers found out, called the cops and got the sheriffs involved, only to find out she lied and made every little thing up. I was livid, told everyone in our friend group. Some sympathized with her because she probably just wanted attention, nothing wrong with that. Others were on my side saying, there is a lot wrong with that, she lied about something serious and now she can't be trusted anymore. Who knows if she'll do something like this again. Since that day her and I parted ways because she became a complete $100% to me, and I was fine with her hating me for seeing through her BS and not wanting to be around her anymore for it. TLDR, a friend lied about being raped by a mutual friend's brother. We were no longer friends once the truth came out, and she wasn't even sorry. Treating others like crap. You really want that in your life? I have no respect for those who defend assholes. Lots of things. I'm not a very hateful person at all, but I'm not saying I respect everybody. The earliest example I could remember of me losing total respect for someone was when some guy was running in the middle of the road while my dad was trying to find a parking spot, and my dad just honked and moved on. Once we got out of the car, the guy showed up and started arguing with my dad because my dad honked at him. The man was clearly in the wrong and was going out of his way to inconvenience us. People like that should be treated like a child if they want to act like one. No question, supporting Trump. I used to belong to a church, and there were many fine, caring, and spiritual people whose lives I admired so much. I guess they were mostly all about abortion, but to me that is a lousy excuse to support someone corrupt, racist, dishonest, greedy, cruel, and just plain evil. To me there is no possible political ideology that justifies electing a person of such despicable character president. I will never respect these individuals again, or that church for that matter. For the record, I did not like Hillary Clinton, but it was not worth nominating Trump to beat her. Extramarital affair. Knowing they proudly teach their kids to be racist. Willful ignorance. Bragging about her 4-year affair, while holding their newborn son. I thought this was my good friend, but I completely lost respect and ended our friendship. Lies, intolerance and hypocrisy. Trifecta AF evil. Once in like 9th grade, my friend, her new BF, and I were sitting, talking, and eating together for the first 5 minutes of lunch when he starts making out with her, to which I ask them like, hey, I'm kinda uncomfy here, would you mind not fully making out while I'm here? And he just gave me a stink eye and just started kissing her even more dramatically than before, which made me immediately just leave. I lost respect for both my friend and her new BF. My friend because she just didn't do anything about it / say anything to me, and the BF for obvious reasons. My cousin. He used to be a cool guy and I could really laugh with him. Until he started hanging out with weird people. He started doing shit like threatening his father, my uncle, to beat him. He also beat up some guy with 4 of his friends. One of my ex-friends decided to personally attack a lot of my other friends in a Discord that we all basically use as a glorified group chat. He insulted us based on our age, likes, personal goals, etc., anything he could get his hands on. People who act like, oh, I don't usually like people at first, I can be a little bitchy, acting like superior people, judging others, talking shit about them. A person you meet may not be a person you like, but there's no reason for you not to be nice or not trying to integrate someone. Get off your high horse, bitch. My uncle. He and his wife ran their business, a franchise, into the ground, and then assumed when they closed their doors that they'd come and help my mom run hers. When my mom refused, he called in the loan she owed him. It was a real BTCH move. Generally when people are bad parents I lose respect for them. I've seen it too much and it just disgusts me. A guy in my class called a perfectly average-sized girl fat. It was clear he only liked the insanely skinny, photoshopped baddies on Instagram, and he refused to believe that the normal woman's body was anatomically correct. Not returning items when asked. I have an ex-roommate who I asked to put a couple of necklaces of mine in her purse for a bit because they were irritating my neck. When I asked for them back, she told me later. To this day I still have not gotten them back, and she even has started claiming that she returned them when she clearly didn't. Thank goodness I cut her out of my life.
With